Good morning, everybody. Saturday morning, I'm sitting on my balcony, and there's so many things going through my head. Of course, everybody's talking about um, the murder of Ahmaud, and I see people celebrating because the McMichaels were arrested, and I say I'm a skeptic. I said I'd celebrate when they got 40 years to life, and it's not just being skeptical, it's being real. Because already we see support for them starting to mount. So we know what's going to happen. And I hate to forecast things because I think sometimes if I don't say anything, I don't speak them into existence. When I started doing my podcast, I promised myself that I was going to stick to current events. But we've been so dominated by this COVID-19 and about the upcoming election and trying to make sure that it happens and trying to make sense of all of the politicking and political maneuvering that it's taken hold of my podcast. And I think it's necessary to keep people on task and to decipher some of the information that's out here. And I do so because I see it's all connected. Here's what troubles me, and here's why it's all connected. This man and his son followed this young man jogging down the street, accosted him, murdered him. Now it's come out that the man, the 64-year-old man, was a retired cop. There's so many things that's wrong with this, and there's so many things that I could talk about with this. There's a systemic problem with racism here in America. There's a systemic problem with racist cops being allowed to thrive and rise up through the ranks on too many police forces, even in urban areas. So we know in these smaller communities, towns, and cities that attitude just runs rampant. And they get to feeling like they can do what they want because they've been doing what they want for so long. So I think that's the first problem. How do we stop people like this from becoming a cop? And how do we break this cold blue, this cold blue silence that exists amongst cops? And if one speaks out, then he or she is gonna be sacrificed. And when he or she needs help, they're not gonna get it from quote unquote their co-workers. That's number one. Number two of these district attorneys recused themselves because they knew this shit stank of high hell, and they knew that they couldn't make a difference. So that should be a tip. Number three, once a grand jury is convened of their so-called peers in that neighborhood, unless, I think, in my humble opinion, unless the DA can get a change of venue, it's going to be for naught. It's just going to be to appease all of these people that's hollering and screaming for justice for Ahmaud. If they can get a change of venue, then they still have to convince 12 people unanimously that these two acted criminally and murdered this boy. If that doesn't happen, number 3, then we usually would look for the U.S. Attorney General to step in with the Department of Justice. We know with the current administration and the current Attorney General that we have, we know that's not going to happen. We know that's not going to happen. So, I know you guys are tired of hearing about politics. In the midst of thinking about your safety and how do I just make it through today, tomorrow, how do I deal with the uncertainty of COVID-19, and how can you look so far ahead to November? I'm an administrator. I've always been a global thinker. I always thought about life and situations in a very methodical sense. I have a methodical way of problem solving. And this problem is so big, it has to be dealt with both ways, from the grassroots up, and that's us. That's us coming together, uniting our voices and uniting our votes. And the one thing we should have learned from this COVID-19, we should have learned that when we don't spend, we hurt America in the only way that it understands, and that's economically. We've got some idiots in there that are banking on nothing other than dollars and cents, and it makes no sense, no pun intended. The only way we're going to make sure that Ahmad and Jean and all of these other guys, we have to stem this rise of racism. And I think the only way we can do it is focusing on November. I think the only way we can do it, and I keep saying this, I'm not drinking the Joe Biden Kool-Aid. I'm just making the best decision of what's available to us now. Some may say it's choosing the lesser of two evils. I don't see it that way. I see it if today I have to eat peanut butter and jelly so that I can make a purchase, so that I can buy a house, I'm going to eat peanut butter and jelly and I'm going to enjoy it. Maybe Joe Biden is not peanut butter and jelly. Maybe he's ham and cheese. But right now, he's the best thing that we have to bank on to get past this. So when I see the things that are coming up against him, when I see the things that are happening around us, when I see us black folks and us brown folks being sacrificed to get this economy back on track, I can't help but to talk about it. And I know you're tired of hearing it. When I look at the number of views I'm getting to my videos, I can see that you're tired of hearing it. And truth be told, I'm tired of talking about it. I'm ready to turn the page and get back to something else. But this is a long, arduous process. So I don't mean to beat you up on a Saturday morning. It hurts my feelings. This young man was 25 years old. All of these dots are connected. We live in America where so many races feel like they can do whatever they feel like doing when they feel like doing it. You have armed militia going out on protesting. It doesn't make sense. How we get justice for all of these young black folks and old black folks, from the time of tar and feather and lynching to where we are today, if you can't see history repeating itself, forget smelling the coffee. I don't know what to say. We owe something. If you're old enough to be listening to my voice, you're old enough to be thinking about legacy. You're old enough to be thinking about what can I give to my children, my children's children, and their children. And I think what we need to do now is start making those choices. So I'm not going to get redundant. I'm not going to get long and drawn out. I'm just saying, this young man's sacrifice, he woke up doing the same thing he had done so many times before. I find it hard to believe that they had never seen this young man before. So I think it was planned. I think it was premeditated. I think it was done because the current administration, the current place where we are as a society, the current place where we are as America, it's pivoted to a racist place. But from a historical perspective, it's history repeating itself. So we have to come together to make sure this shit doesn't continue to happen. So good morning, good Saturday morning. The irony is, it's such a beautiful day. I should be taking care of my car. I should be talking about going to the grocery store. But I wrote a piece because my soul is just unsettled. So I'm going to say good morning. I'm going to end this because I don't want this to be long and drawn out. But it's all connected. I'm talking about what I'm talking about because I see how all of this comes together. So I'm trying to keep you guys on task. I'm trying to keep you focused. I'm trying to keep you from getting burned out. I'm trying to encourage you during this pandemic. Like I said, let's end the quarantine and let's hibernate for ourselves. And while we're doing this hibernation, let's catch our breath. Let's take a breath. Let's think this thing through so that we'll have a plan moving forward for ourselves, for our families, for our communities, so we can get this idiot out there. I say it's all connected because if we can't get rid of him, just last week, Justice Ginsburg, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, had her gallbladder removed. That one was 375 years old. We have to make sure that we have another president that doesn't stack the federal government and the U.S. Supreme Court with more of this racist mentality. So I feel like an old Baptist preacher. I'm trying to say goodbye, and there's so much that won't let me. So I'm going to shut it down. When you get a chance to see this, think about it. Good morning and goodbye. Have a great day.